And as we have discussed in previous episodes on the show, we have had some passionate conversations about my distaste of the modern soft NBA. And there is no one that represents what is wrong with the NBA over the last couple of years than Kawhi Leonard. His lack of work, it's not being there. Load management, absenteeism, tardiness, however you want to call it. And it appears that he has changed himself, that Kawhi, so far anyway, you can say it's a small sample size, but Kawhi Leonard has gone from a no-show to actual perseverance. He opened the season playing 27 consecutive games for the Clippers. It's the most consecutive games in a season going all the way back 8 years. That's how long it had been for Kawhi Leonard. And he has been, when he has played, he's played most of the games, he has been a smooth operator. He's averaging almost 24 points a game, over 6 rebounds a game, shooting over 50% from the field, 43% from behind the arc. And he has been a pillar of the Clipper community. In fact, I'm starting to watch the games more. I've told the story how I stopped watching regular season NBA, and I'll have it on in the background. But not only is he a pillar of the Clipper community, more important to Steve Ballmer, he wants him a pillar of the new arena that they're building. So so far it has not worked. Kawhi was brought in to win a championship. Now, the Clippers did make the Final Four. We all know the Final Four is a big deal. The Clippers made the Final Four a couple years ago, and Kawhi went snap, crackle, pop. So they got to get back to that Final Four status, and nobody wants to play the Clippers right now. I know we're months away from the NBA playoffs, but at this moment, nobody wants to play the Clippers because of that loaded roster and what they have. Now, secondly, page 2 here. Why did Kawhi Leonard make this move now? Why did he agree to this contract when he could have tested the waters in free agency in June and gone out and seen what he could have gotten elsewhere? Well, the first thing's rather obvious. The reason he didn't do that financially, it made more sense. He could make more money from the Clippers. But secondly, you don't mess with a good thing. You don't mess with a good thing. And if you worked for someone like the Clippers, if you're Kawhi Leonard and you don't show up to work for a couple of years and they still want to give you this kind of money, that is flabbergasting. When you think about it, the Clippers continue to give the day spa treatment to Kawhi Leonard. He's got the facial, he's got the mani, the pedi, the whole thing. And Kawhi, for him, this is a Casablanca situation. It is. I mean, the Clippers needed to lock down a headliner when they move into the Intuit Dome, the Taj Mahal of basketball, which opens up next season in the Hood in Inglewood. Been by there a few times. I've been going to these NFL games. We do the show from L.A. and SoFi Stadium in the Hood in Inglewood. That arena looks amazing. It's going to be the greatest arena in all of pro basketball, and the Clippers are going to be able to leave Skid Row behind where they play right now at that dump that used to be called Staples Center. All right, final thought. How much of this Kawhi Leonard deal and his agreement to the extension was a result of James Harden? What role did James Harden play in the Kawhi Leonard contract? Well, I'm glad you've asked. So this is a tic-tac-toe situation. We talk about Kawhi Leonard and you combine James Harden. It's a tic-tac-toe situation because everything is connected. Everything is connected one way or another. And so Kawhi is running the Clippers by proxy. He is. James Harden does not become a Clipper unless Kawhi Leonard signs off on it. So they went to Kawhi or Kawhi went to them. Doesn't matter which way it went, but Kawhi agreed to it. And so they went out and got Kawhi Leonard some help with James Harden. And the Clippers got off to a 3-7 start. And they have been on a burner ever since then. Their last 26 games, they've won 20 of them. 20-6. And actually up that now, 21 out of 27 as they beat Toronto in the game that was played on Wednesday night. But they added a little extra spice to the recipe with James Harden, and they have had a delicious meal with Harden in the fold. Next up is Paul George. By George. Paul George, he is also close to an extension. George has a player option for an ungodly amount of money next season. But to quote Jim Harbaugh, when you talk about Paul George, who's about to sign an extension, and Kawhi Leonard, who did sign the extension, who's got it better than us? Who's got it better than those guys? Taking turns getting hurt, and they still get the extension. But if you're the Clippers at this point, you're moving into the new arena, and they have built a ecosystem around those guys, and they want to run into the finish line. They don't want to stop short here. And how amazing will it be when the Clippers rise to the peak of the mountain in the NBA here and celebrate the championship this summer? And then there's a big parade with Clipper Darrell, me, Chuck the Condor. We'll all be hanging out together there at the Clipper Parade, and they can hang their little dopey banner at the Intuit Dome, the Taj Mahal of basketball. And I might want to mention right now, maybe I should mention right now, that as I've said, and I maintain this position, one Clipper championship more impressive than all of those little Laker championships, because the Lakers are a fraud franchise. Counting 5 titles from Minneapolis, that's embarrassing. All of the Celtics titles were won in Boston. None were won in Minneapolis. Counting the in-season tournament, raising a banner on that, that's a joke. The COVID Mickey Mouse title, celebrating that, also embarrassing. So all it takes for the Clippers here is one title. And I'm feeling pretty good. The more I watch this team play, the more I'm feeling it's going to happen. The year of the Clipper. I looked at the Chinese calendar.